Good evening, YouTubers. Good evening, Facebook. Welcome again to another live streaming of tax training. And tonight, I will discuss to you the Revenue Regulations number 11-2018. Ito po yung implementing regulations po ng withholding under the train law. Okay. So, I would like to say thank you sa mga ka-YouTubers po natin, sa mga nag-subscribe po sa ating YouTube channel, Tax Training. Thank you very much. Umabot na po tayo ng 6,500. No? Saka sa mga Facebook friends natin po na nagla-like din po sa ating mga videos. Thank you po. Thank you very much. Shout out po sa mga nandyan palagi at nanonood po sa atin. So, sino yung nandyan ngayon, Hari?
Wala pa pong nag-chat nun, pero may viewers.
Okay, so Revenue Regulations number 11-2018. This is dated January 31, 2018. No? Kasi kailan ba ang Republic Act 10963 o yung train law na took effect, no? Nung January 2018. Kaya ito po yung implementing regulations niya sa mga changes ng tax rates, no? So this Revenue Regulations number 11-2018 amends provisions of Revenue Regulations number 2-98. Ito pong Revenue Regulations 2-98, ito po yung mother regulations po natin when it comes to withholding. Nandoon po. So kung minsan yung mga hindi po natin maintindihan about withholding, just go back po sa Revenue Regulations number 2-98, nandun po yung mga explanations, no? As amended. To implement further amendments introduced by Republic Act number 10963, otherwise known as the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion Law relative to withholding of income tax. No? So ito yung withhold po dito sa 11-2018 pertains to income tax, no? Hindi ito sa business tax na mga withholding, income tax lang po ito. Okay. Section 1, no? So amends Section 2.57.1 of the income payment subject to final withholding taxes. So ito na po ngayon yung income payment subject to final withholding taxes. Letter A, income payments to a citizen or to a resident alien individual. So, sino po yung subject dito? Citizen or resident alien individual. Kasi pareho lang po yung tax sa kanila pag resident alien, no? So, number 1, interest from any peso bank deposit and yield or any monetary benefits from deposit substitutes and from trust funds and similar arrangements, royalties, except on books, no? Kasi yung books, iba ang rate. As well as other literary and musical composition prices, except prices amounting to 10,000 or less, which shall be subject to tax under subsection A, section 24 of the tax code as amended. No, kasi yung 10,000 subject na po siya, isasama mo sa income tax mo na pagpa-file. No? And other winnings, except winnings from Philippine charity sweepstakes. Kasi hindi po taxable ang Philippine charity sweepstakes and lotto amounting to 10,000 or less, which shall be exempt. No? So, derived from sources within the Philippines, 20%. So, ito yung mga royalty payments, no, na sa income. So, final tax siya na 20%. Number 3, interest income received by an individual taxpayer from a depository bank under the expanded foreign currency deposit system. The tax rate is 15%. No? Cash and or property dividends, ito yung galing sa corporations, sa investment sa corporations. Actually or constructively received from a domestic corporation, joint stock company, insurance, or mutual fund companies and regional operating headquarters of multinational companies, or on the share of an individual in the distributable net income after tax of a partnership except general professional partnership of which he is a partner, or on the nature of an individual in the net, or on the share of an individual in the net income after tax of an association, a joint account, or a joint venture or consortium taxable as a corporation of which he is a member or co-venturer, 10%. So ito yung mga binabayad po sa dividend, no? Yung investment natin sa domestic corporations. Pag nag-declare na ito ng dividend coming from its written earnings, cash or property dividend, subject po siya sa 10% final withholding tax. Ibig sabihin po ng final withholding tax, hindi na siya isasama sa pagpa-file po natin ng income tax. Wala ka nang kukumputin. Bakit? Kasi yung tax na withhold na final tax, sapat na yun na pambayad doon sa tax na yun. Ito po yung pagkakaiba sa tinatawag natin na creditable withholding tax. Kasi ang creditable withholding tax, pag yan ang withhold sa iyo ng withholding agent, dapat isama mo pa siya sa pag-file mo ng income tax return mo at saka kailangan compute ka ng panibago, no, doon sa income na na-receive mo na yon, and then multiply mo sa tax rate, ibawas mo na lang yung creditable withholding. Pero sa final tax, iba, dahil doon sa final tax na withhold sa iyo, sapat na yon at hindi mo na kailangang mag-compute pa. No? So, capital gains from sale of shares of stocks not traded in the stock exchange on the net capital gains realized during the taxable year from the sale, barter, exchange, or other disposition of shares of stocks in a domestic corporation, 15%. So, magkano po yung capital gains sa sale of shares of stocks not traded in the stock exchange? Ibig sabihin, hindi na traded sa stock exchange, mga private corporations po ito, no? Hindi sila traded sa stock exchange yung kanila shares of stocks. No? So, magkano ang capital gains? 15%. Income payments to non-resident aliens engaged in trade or business in the Philippines. Kanina, payment yon sa resident citizen at saka sa citizen, Filipino citizen at saka resident alien. Ngayon, ito naman, income payments to non-resident aliens engaged in trade or business in the Philippines. So, take note, iba po yung subject dito, no? Hindi yung resident citizen, kung hindi yung non-resident aliens engaged in trade or business. Capital gains from sale of shares of stocks not traded in the stock exchange, 15% din po, no? So, yun ang rate, no? Parang sa resident citizen din. Income derived from all sources within the Philippines by a non-resident alien individuals not engaged in trade or business within the Philippines. So, sa letter B, engaged in trade or business. Sa letter C, not engaged in trade or business, itong resident alien. Itong non-resident alien. Okay? So, capital gains from sale of shares of stocks not traded in the stock exchange or net capital gains realized during the taxable year from sale, barter, exchange, or other disposition of shares of stocks in a domestic corporation, 15%. So, in short, pare-pareho lang po sila, no? Whether resident citizen, non-resident alien engaged in trade or business, non-resident alien not engaged in trade or business, pare-pareho lang po na 15% po yung final tax na babayaran nila on the sale of shares of stocks not traded in the stock exchange. Letter D, income payment to a domestic corporation. No? So, ito yung mga ibabayad sa domestic corporation. Interest income derived from a depository bank under the expanded foreign currency deposit system. The tax rate po is 15%. No? So, yung sa interest, halimbawa may pera yung corporation, nakadeposito sa bangko, and then nag-earn ito ng interest. So, subject po siya sa withholding na 15%. No? Okay. Ito yung under the expanded foreign currency deposit system, ito yung dollar deposit or foreign currency. No? Capital gains from sale of shares of stocks not traded in the stock exchange on net capital gains realized during the taxable year from the sale, barter, exchange, or other disposition of shares of stocks in a domestic corporation, 15%. So, parang individual din, kahit na corporation yung magbenta, mag-trade ng kanyang shares of stocks, 15% din po yung rate. Income payment to a resident foreign corporation, formerly under letter H. No? So, income derived from all sources within the Philippines by non-resident foreign corporation. So, ito naman yung all sources within the Philippines by non-resident foreign corporation. Kanina domestic corporation, ngayon non-resident foreign corporations. Friends benefits to the employee, no? So itong friends benefits, letter G, granted to the employees except rank and file employees. So ibig sabihin na except rank and file employee, hindi kasama dito yung rank and file employee. Pag binigyan sila ng friends benefits, iba po yung pagtatax sa kanila, isama sa kanilang compensation income. So sino lang po yung employee na subject dito? Yung supervisory and managerial position, no? Yung employees holding supervisory and managerial position. Okay, so on the gross up monetary value of the friends benefits granted or furnished by the employer to his employee except rank and file as defined in the code, the rate for employee when the employee is a citizen or resident alien, non-resident alien engaged in trade or business within the Philippines, the tax rate is 35%. If the employee is a non-resident alien not engaged in trade or business, 25% po. Yun yung final tax na i-withhold sa friends benefits. No? Okay. The gross up value of the friends benefits shall be determined by dividing the actual monetary value of the friends benefit by the difference between 100% and the applicable rate of income tax. And the applicable rate of income tax. The actual monetary value of the friends benefit shall be divided by 65% to get the gross up value subject to 35% friends benefits tax. So mag-gross up po tayo, hindi yung kung magkano yung binigay, yun na yung i-multiply mo ng 35%. No, i-gross up mo muna. Bakit? Kasi net na yun eh, net of tax na yun. No? So i-gross up mo muna siya. Divided by 65% to get the gross up value subject to 35% friends benefits tax. Pagka naman subject sa 25% na rate, i-divide mo muna siya, yung divisor mo is 75% in order to get the gross up monetary value at saka mo palang i-multiply po siya doon sa 25%. Okay. Mayroon ng shoutout, Hari? Okay. Shoutout po muna tayo.
Shoutout po kay Jules. Jules po yung pangalan niya sa ano.
Okay, shoutout Jules. Thank you for watching.
Sabi niya ma'am, kayo po very much interested po ako sa channel niyo. Marami po ako natutunan.
Thank you.
Tapos good evening daw po sabi ni Ma'am Ami Oklari.
Oklari?
Oklarit.
Oklarin?
Oklarit po.
Oklarit.
Opo.
Okay, so shoutout po kay Ma'am Ami
Opo.
Oklarit. No? Thank you for watching po.
Good evening din daw po sabi ni NM Tanata.
Okay, so shoutout MM Tanyada.
Tapos good evening watching from Palawan po si Lilin E.
Liling K, shout out sa mga taga Palawan po. Thank you for watching, no? Napaka-bless ng lugar nyo. Ang daming improvements po sa inyo. Kaya siguro sa mga taga Palawan, ang masasabi ko lang, you have to level up, no? With all the opportunities na nandyan sa inyo ngayon, you have to level up with your talent, with your skills, so that kung maraming opportunities na darating, you are ready. No?
Tapos good evening din daw po sabi ni Ma'am Sonia Amiles.
Si Ma'am Sonia. Naka-ano din si Ma'am Sonia, no? Meron tayong tax updates, Ma'am Sonia, ha, sa 28 yon, di ba? Tax updates. Yes. Via Zoom po yan, 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Yun sa mga members po natin sa PSTRI. Tsaka sa tax advisors. Okay?
Libig din daw po sabi ni Ma'am
Ani,
Villanueva, Jones.
si Ma'am Ani. Yung sapatos ko ha. Si Ma'am, ano, ano na natin sa YouTube, yung mga sapatos po nila ni Ma'am Ani due to the parang slack ng operations, binibenta na po nila at a discount, no? Sila po yung supplier ng magandang klase po na sapatos sa Marikina. So, yung mga YouTubers natin na may gusto, kahit saan panig kayo ng Pilipinas, pwede po kayong mag-order via chat lang po kayo at i-refer namin kayo kay Ma'am Ani. Napakaganda po ng klase ng kanilang mga sapatos, sandals, no? But since dahil nga dito sa COVID natin, sa pandemic, nagkaroon ng slack in operation. So, para may pang sweldo, may pang gastos, no? Bibigay po sila at a discount po talaga. Napakaganda, no? Ako nag-order din ako. Kaya dun sa mga YouTubers natin, sa mga Facebook natin, this is your opportunity para makabili po kayo ng product na napakamura, no? Matutuwa kayo. Mag-message lang kayo diyan mag-comment lang kayo diyan sa atin at ibigay ninyo yung inyong mga Facebook address kaya sa YouTube. Papadala namin sa inyo yung mga pictures so that maka-avail din po kayo, no? Magandang klase ang mga gawa ng Marikina, ibang klase po 'yan. Mga ladies shoes po 'yan, ladies at saka sandals. No?
Watching from Tarlac daw po si Ma'am Tetay Valleros.
Okay, shout out po sa mga taga Tarlac, no? Nakaaral ako diyan sa OSIAS Colleges. Shout out po sa mga taga Tarlac at saka kay Tita Vallejos. Thank you for watching.
Good PM daw po sabi ni Sir George Ocampo.
George
Ocampo.
Ocampo.
Kanina po.
Siya yun. Okay. Bukas tayo, Sir George, ha? Kaya sabi ko, hindi na ako makapag-YouTube after this. Matulog na muna. For the certificate program of transfer pricing po, yun po yung 5-day certificate program ng transfer pricing. No, ang dami nating updates yan sa transfer pricing natin. At nagbigay din kami ng, ano yun, yung 1 day seminar yun, Hari.
2 days na.
2 days seminar on
Yung
Ramo 1-2019, no? Yung transfer pricing audit guidelines po ng BIR, binigay po natin yan na libre sa via YouTube po, November and anong date yan? November lang?
14-15
Okay. So anyway, yung mga may gusto no mag-i-email kami sa inyo in order for you to avail of that free 2-day seminar on transfer pricing audit guidelines, no? Nandoon yung how to prepare segmented financial statements at saka yung how to prepare the supply chain analysis, which is a requirement on the transfer pricing audit, no? Okay, meron pa?
Okay na po. Thank you daw po sabi ni Ma'am Annie sa recommendation.
Yes. Ang ganda talaga ng mga sapatos nila, no? So, let's now go to our discussion po sa withholding. Ito yung mga friends benefits, no? Friends benefits, however, which are required by the nature of or necessary to the trade, business, or profession of the employer, or where such friends benefit is for convenience and advantage of the employer shall not be subject to the friends benefits tax. So, kailan po ang friends benefits tax hindi subject? Ang friends benefits hindi subject sa tax. Pagka ang friends benefits ay binigay ng employer for his or its benefits, no? Makikinabang siya. Halimbawa, nagbigay siya ng libre na pabahay sa malapit sa factory niya. So, yun, convenience niya para yung empleyado, mabilis lang, hindi maantala, no? Ang pagpunta. Kung nasa malayo sila, pwede ma-traffic, pwede hindi makarating ka agad-agad. So, anong ginawa ng employer? Binigyan ng pabahay malapit sa factory. So, in that case, since para yan sa convenience ng employer, then hindi po siya subject sa friends benefits tax. Okay. The term friends benefits means any good, service, or other benefit furnished or granted in cash or in kind by an employer to an individual employee except rank and file employees, such as but not limited to the following. Bakit palagi pong sinasabi na except rank and file employee? Why except rank and file employee? Because ang rank and file employee, pag binigyan siya ng employer ng friends benefits, hindi po siya subject sa final tax. Hindi kayo magko-compute doon ng friends benefits tax. Bakit? Kasi isama siya sa compensation income. No? So kung halimbawa binigyan siya ng transportation allowance ng employer, no? Ng educational assistance, no? Hindi kasama dito yung transportation eh. Housing or expense account, vehicle of any kind. Isama yan, ang monetary value niyan, isama mo sa compensation income at subject po siya sa gross compensation income, no, na tax. No? Hindi po siya sa final tax na friends benefits. No? Okay. So, ano-ano po itong mga benefits na binibigay po ng employer sa kanilang supervisory and managerial employees. Ito po yung housing. No? So, housing. Expense account. Ano yung mga expense account yan? Iba-iba yan. No? So, para sa expenses ng, halimbawa, pagkain. No? Halimbawa, pamasahe. No? So, expense account. Number 3, vehicle of any kind. Number 4, household personnel such as maid, driver, and others. So, may ibang mga kumpanya kasi, especially sa mga managerial positions nila, may mga drivers, no? May mga sasakyan. So, kasama po yan na subject to friends benefits tax. Number 5, interest on loan at less than market rate to the extent of the difference between the market rate and the actual rate granted. Halimbawa, nagbigay ang employer ng loan sa employee. Ang rate is only 5%. How much is the legal rate of interest? 12%. No? So, magkano yung isa subject sa friends benefits tax? Yung 12%. Yung difference ng 12% at saka ng 5% na binigay niya na 5% lang interest. So, magkano yun? 7%. So, yung 7% na interest na dapat kinolekta ng employer sa kanyang employee dahil pinautang niya. So, yung 7% na lang na yan ang subject to friends benefits tax. Membership fees, dues, and other expenses borne by the employer for the employee in social and athletic clubs or other similar organizations. Itong mga membership fees, dues, other expenses, but dahil sa COVID, sarado yung mga clubs natin, no? So, wala. Hindi tayo maka-claim ng mga ganyang expense ngayon dahil sarado nga. So, expenses for foreign travel, no? So, bawal pa rin yung mga foreign travel. Holiday and vacation expenses. So, kung karamihan ng mga resorts man, hindi pa rin nagbubukas, no? But pansamantala lang yan. Okay. Educational assistance to the employee or his dependents, no? So, pwedeng pinaaral ng employee yung employer ang kanyang employees and dependents, yung mga members of the family po ng empleyado. Life or health insurance and other non-life insurance premiums or similar amounts in excess of what the law allows. Ano tong mga life or health insurance? Ito yung inallow doon sa pero ngayon wala na eh, yung dati na 2,400 sa health insurance, ngayon wala na because of the 250,000 na zero rate sa compensation. Kaya wala na, no? So yung life or health insurance, non-life insurance premiums na binabayaran ng employer para sa kanyang employee are also subject to 20% to the friends benefits tax on the gross up monetary value, no? How much is the rate for Filipinos citizen? 35%, no? Hari, napakaraming lamok, kinakagat ako dito sa paa. Okay. Sige. Pahiram muna. Sobrang sakit mga gat. Wala na eh. Oh. Okay. Charge mo muna. Okay, so continue lang po tayo, no? Masakit yung lamok mga gat. Okay. So, informers reward to persons instrumental in the discovery of violations of the National Internal Revenue Code and the discovery and seizure of smuggled goods, no? So, ito yung mga informers reward na pumupunta po yan, accredited po sila ng BIR, paparegister po sila sa national office, and then meron silang mga information na binibigay doon para sa mga hindi nagbabayad ng tax, no? Tsaka meron silang rewards, no? Pag nagbayad na ng tax, nasingil na ng BIR, at nagbayad na ng tax, binabayaran po sila ng, ang pinakamalaki dyan is 1 million, no? Kasi whichever is higher doon sa actual na dapat ma-allow sa kanila, no? Okay. Section 2, certain items of Section 2.57.2 BRR 2-98 hereby renumbered and further amended to read as follows. Section 2.57.2, income payment subject to creditable. Kanina, final tax yun. Ngayon, creditable na, no? So, income payment subject to creditable withholding tax and rates prescribed thereon, no? So, ito, creditable na to ha. So, ibig sabihin, hindi ito final. Kailangan nyo pang mag-compute ng actual tax due nyo and whatever amount na ma-compute nyo, yung winidhold sa inyo, ibabawas nyo, no? Yung may certificate tayo dito na matatanggap yung 2307, no? Letter A, professional fees, talent fees, and others for services rendered, no? So, on the gross professional, promotional, talent fees, or any other form of remuneration for the services by the following. Halimbawa, individual pay. Pag individual ka, at ang gross income mo for the current year not exceed 3 million, ang withholding mo is 5%. Pag ang gross income mo naman is more than 3 million, ibig sabihin batable na yan, 10% lang po yung withholding. Pag ikaw naman ay non-individual, ibig sabihin partnership or corporation, no? If gross income for the current year did not exceed 720,000, the withholding is 10%, no? If gross income exceeds 720,000, then the withholding tax is 15%. Actually, may nagtanong sa akin dito, no? Ma'am, bakit ba ang withholding pag individual maliit ang rate? Pagka corporation or non-individual, mas malaki ang rate, no? So, sabi ko, I don't also know the rationale kung bakit nagganyan. Pero sa nakita ko, ang individual kasi, meron silang 250,000 no, na not taxable at saka graduated yung rate. Samantalang ang corporation, outright ang net income mo subject to 30%, no? Kaya mas mataas yung binabayaran na tax ng corporation, kaya dapat lang mas mataas din yung kanyang withholding. Why? Kasi yung withholding na wini-withhold sa iyo, yun ang ibabawas mo dun sa tax due. So at least kung 15% saka 10%, kunti na lang yung hahabulin ng corporation, no? Samantalang sa individual, yung income tax rate ng individual is graduated, no? Hindi outright na 30%. Ang umpisa pa siya dun sa zero. Okay. So, those individually engaged in the practice of profession or callings, lawyers, certified public accountants, doctors of medicine, architects, civil, electrical, chemical, mechanical, structural, industrial, mining, sanitary, metallurgical, and geodetic engineers, marine surveyors, doctors of veterinary science, dentists, professional appraisers, connoisseurs of tobacco, actuaries, interior decorators, designers, real estate service practitioners, real estate consultants, real estate appraisers, and real estate brokers, requiring government license or examinations given by the real estate service pursuant to Republic Act number 9646 and all other profession requiring government licensure examination regulated by the Professional Regulations Commissions, Supreme Court, and others. No? So, for professional fees paid to medical practitioners, no? Hindi sinama dito sa mga sinasabi yung medical doctors. Mayroon ibang provisions para sa kanila. No? Medyo hinigpitan sila. For professional fees paid to medical practitioners includes doctors of medicine, doctors of veterinary science, and dentists by hospitals and clinics or paid directly by health maintenance organizations or HMOs and or other similar establishment. No? Formerly under letter I. Letter A, it shall be the duty or responsibility of the hospitals, clinics, HMOs, ito yung mga health maintenance organization, ito yung mga pre-need plans, no? And similar establishments to withhold and remit taxes due on the professional fees of their respective accredited medical practitioners paid by patients who were admitted and confined to such hospitals and clinics. No? So, hospitals, clinics, HMOs, and similar establishments must ensure, so nasa kanila po yung obligation, that correct taxes due, dapat nag-withhold sila ng tamang taxes, on the professional fees of their medical practitioners have been withheld and timely remitted to the Bureau of Internal Revenue. So, ano yung timely remitted to the Bureau of Internal Revenue? Dapat na-remit nila yon doon sa prescribed na time ng due na yung remittance, no, ng withholding. For this purpose, hospitals and clinics shall not allow their medical practitioners to receive payments of professional fees directly from patient. So, hindi pwede na diretso ang pasyente ang magbabayad sa doktor. Dapat dadaan muna sa hospital, clinics, or HMO. Who were admitted and confined to such hospital or clinic and instead must include the professional fees in the total medical bill of the patient, which shall be payable directly to the hospital or clinic. No? So, pag halimbawa yung pasyente na confined sa hospital, hindi siya outpatient, dapat yung billing niya, including yung professional fee ng doktor, dapat binayad niya sa hospital at hindi diretso sa doktor. No? Yun po ang sinasabi nitong batas na to. Revenue Regulations 11-2018. No? So, exception. The withholding tax herein prescribed shall not apply whenever there is proof that no professional fee has in fact been charged by the medical practitioner and paid by his patient. Ito yung pro bono na allegations pa natin ng mga doktor na hindi naman nagbabayad ng professional fee, hindi ko siningil, libre, no? So, anong proof? Malalaman din natin dito mamaya kung ano yung proof na ipapakita ng doktor na yung kanyang pasyente hindi talaga niya siningil, no? Pareho silang magkaroon ng affidavit, naka-record po dun sa special books of accounts ng doktor, no? So, provided however that this fact is shown, ito na, in a sworn declaration. So, sworn declaration, ibig sabihin, affidavit form, at permahan po nilang dalawa. Jointly executed by the medical practitioner and the patient or his duly authorized representative in case the patient is a minor or otherwise incapacitated. So, dalawa silang pipirma, the patient or the guardian. This sworn declaration to be executed in the form presented in the Annex A. Lahat po ng Annex A, pero palagay ko hindi natin matatapos ito ngayon dahil mahaba itong regulations na to. Lahat ng Annex A, di-discuss po natin, no? As we go along. So, kung hindi man natin matapos ito ngayon, yung next natin na live streaming, no? So, this sworn declaration to be executed in the form presented in Annex A of these regulations shall form part of the records of the hospital or clinic and shall constitute as part of its records and shall be made readily available to any duly authorized revenue officer for tax audit purposes. So, anong sabi niya? Form part of the records of the hospital or clinic, no? And also, readily available to examiner, revenue officer, pagka nagkakandak po sila ng audit, no? Provided further that the said administrator of the hospital or clinic shall inform the concerned large taxpayer service, revenue region, and revenue district office having jurisdiction over such hospital or clinic about any medical practitioner who fails or refuses to execute the sworn statement herein prescribed within 10 days from the occurrence of such event. Ayaw ng doktor na gumawa ng sworn statement or joint affidavit, no? So, within 10 days, doon sa occurrence na yon na hindi papayag yung doktor na gumawa ng joint affidavit, then yung hospital, i-report po niya sa BIR within 10 days. No? Hospitals and clinics shall submit the list containing the names and addresses of the medical practitioners in the following classifications. No? So, every 15th day at the end of its calendar quarter, so quarterly, no? 15th day of after the end of its calendar quarter, to the concerned collection division of the revenue region for non-large taxpayers and at the large taxpayers document processing and quality assurance division LTDPQAD in the national office or large taxpayers district office LTDO in the region for large taxpayers where such hospital or clinic is registered using the prescribed format. No, may mga format tayo later na i-discuss natin. Number 1, medical practitioner whose professional fee was paid by patients directly to the hospital or clinic. No? So, i-report siya ng hospitals or clinic every 15th day at the end of the calendar quarter. No? Medical practitioners who did not charge any professional fee from their patients. So, yung mga medical practitioners, mga doctors, nurses, therapists na hindi nag-charge ng professional fees sa kanilang mga pasyente, kasama din po na i-report sa BIR. Letter D, for this purpose, the term medical practitioners shall likewise include medical technologists, allied health workers, occupational therapists, physical therapists, speech therapists, nurses, and others, no? And other medical practitioners who are not under an employer-employer relationship with the hospital or clinic or its MO and other similar establishments. So, ibig sabihin na hindi sila employee ng hospital or clinics or ng its MO, practicing professional po sila, no? Kasi walang employer-employer relationship, they are not under the control of the employee. Ang nagbabayad sa kanila, yung binabayaran yung service fee nila, diretso na po dun sa patients, no? Letter A, hospitals and clinics shall be responsible for the accurate computation of taxes to be withheld on professional fees paid by patients through the hospitals and clinics in the same way that its MO shall be responsible for the computation of taxes to be withheld from the professional fees paid by them to the medical practitioners and the timely remittance of the applicable expanded withholding tax. Ang tawag po dito sa i-withhold sa professional fee po ng mga doctors, expanded withholding tax. Why? Kasi ito yung creditable tax na wini-withhold po ng withholding agent doon sa money payments nila bago nila ibayad, kaltasin na nila yung tax at sila na yung magre-remit sa government, no? Nire-require po sila ng batas na mag-withhold at hindi ibibigay lahat yung pambayad nila sa professionals, kaltasin na nila yung tax, no? Bago pa ibayad yung professional fees. The list of all income recipients or payees in this subsection shall be included in the alpha list of payees subject to expanded withholding tax attached to BIR form number 1604E, annual information return of creditable income taxes withheld, expanded income payments exempt from withholding taxes, no? So magkakaroon kami ng recorded video on this alpha list, no? Si Harry, kasi si Harry yung IT natin, para meron kayong guide, matutulungan kayo paano po ginagawa yung alpha list na i-attach po natin dito sa ating expanded withholding tax na form. Ito po yung 1604E, annual po ito, no? Every end of the year. Kinakagat na ako ng lamok. So, likewise, the hospitals, clinics, or its MO shall issue a certificate of creditable withholding tax withheld at source, BIR form number 2307, no? Ito yung certificate ng expanded withholding tax, no, na withhold, no? 2 medical practitioners who are subjected to withholding every 20th day following the close of the taxable quarter or upon request of the payee. So yung iba naman, pagka nag-withhold sila, kasama na kaagad yung 2307, binibigay na po sa professionals. Hindi na hinihintay na aabot pa ng quarter, no? During the payment, libawa, nag-remit na sila ng payment ng professional fees, kasama na doon yung certificate of withholding, no? All hospitals and clinics shall submit to the BIR Collection Division of the regional office having jurisdiction over the place where the income earner is registered, no? LT, DPQAD for large taxpayers in Metro Manila, LTDO for large taxpayers outside Metro Manila in 3 copies, no? So 3 kopya po yung gagawin. In 3 copies, 2 copies for the BIR and 1 copy for the taxpayer. A sworn statement executed by the President, Managing Partner of the corporation company as to the complete and updated list of medical practitioners accredited with them, no? So, dapat nagsasubmit po sila ng ganitong report. Number 2, professional entertainers such as but not limited to actors and actresses, singers, lyricists, composers, and MCs, no? So, subject din po sila sa professional fees. Yung sinasabi natin na rate kanina, na pag individual ka, 5%, pag hindi umabot ng 3 million, exceeding 3 million, 10%. Pag non-individual naman, kasi yung ginagawa po ng iba mga artista, yung kanilang professional or talent fee, gumagawa sila ng corporation at doon nila pinapasok, no? So, pagka corporation, ang withholding is higher, no? 10% for the first 720,000 and in excess of 720,000, the rate is 15%. At ano po yung reason? Mas mataas ang tax rates ng corporation compared to individual. Professional athletes including basketball players, pelotaris, and jockeys. Ang sabi po dito, professional, hindi po amateur, no? Kaya pag amateur pa, hindi pa siya sisingilin, not unless na kumikita na rin siya at binabayaran din siya ng professional fees. All directors and producers involved in movies, stage, radio, television, and musical productions, no? So, ang dami naming minimaintain na YouTube channels ngayon, at balak din namin to go into production. So, siguro, pag nag-hire tayo ng mga directors, producers, no? Tsaka yung mga actors, na actresses, kakaroon din tayo ng withholding. Withhold din natin sila. Insurance agents and insurance adjusters, no? So, ito talagang wini-withhold to sila. Management and technical consultants, no? Bookkeeping agents and agencies. So, meron tayong free bookkeeping, October 29-30, no? That is free. Pwede pa po yung ibang gustong sumali. Live po yan via YouTube, pero mag-pre-registered po kayo, no? At minomonitor po natin yung inyong attendance kasi nagbibigay po tayo ng certificates. At ang inyong certificates, saan nyo dyan pwedeng gamitin? Pwede yung gamitin yan sa promotion, sa trabaho nyo, or whatever legal purpose na gusto nyong gamitin, no? Kasi yung ating tinuturo po sa bookkeeping, hindi po yan basta tinuturo yan sa labas kasi kasama po yung bookkeeping regulations na dinidiscuss po natin sa inyo, no? Pati yung mga requirements sa computerized accounting system, pati yung papaano kayo pag nagkaroon na kayo ng letters authority at computerized accounting system ang ginagamit ninyo, ano yung mga isasubmit ninyo ng mga electronic records. And also how to retain and keep your records, no? Yung retention period na sinasabi natin na 10 years. Okay, so yung mga bookkeeping agents and agencies natin subject also to professional fees. Other recipient of talent fees. So yung mga similar na professional fees subject din po. Fees of directors who are not employees of the company paying such fees whose duties are confined to attendance and participation in the meetings of the board of directors. Kasi pag ang directors is an employee at the same time of the corporation, ang professional fee po niya ay kasama dun sa compensation, hindi po kasama nito. Income payments to certain brokers and agents, formerly under letter G, on gross commissions of customs, insurance, stock, immigration, and commercial brokers' fees of agents of professional entertainers and real estate service practitioners, real estate consultants, real estate appraisers, and real estate brokers who failed or did not take up the licensure examination given by and not registered with the Real Estate Service under the Professional Regulations Commission, no? Okay. Hindi pumasa sa sa Real Estate Service under Professional Regulations Commission. Pero subject pa rin sila sa withholding, no? Kasi payments to brokers and agents, no? Kahit hindi ka pumasa, subject ka pa rin, no? Considered pa rin professional fees yung binayad sa iyo. No? Kasi minsan ang sabi ng iba, ay ma'am, ang withholding namin 2% lang, hindi po kami diyan sa 10%. O sige, tingnan ko yung kontrata. Pag tingnan mo dun sa kontrata, management, no? Consultancy services. Hindi po yan ordinaryo na services, specialized kind of services yun po yun na that requires professional skill. Kaya ang bayad doon professional fee na higher po ang withholding. Hindi po yan yung kagaya ng security agency, yung mga janitorial na 2% lang po yung withholding. Hindi na kayo qualified doon, no? So, yun yung sinasabi ng iba na nakikipag-argue pa na ay services lang po ito, dapat 2% lang ang withholding. Classified na po na professional fees, no? Pag tiningnan mo sa kontrata at saka sa kind of services na i-deliver po sa client. Commissions of independent and or exclusive sales representative and marketing agents of companies on gross commission, rebates, discounts, and other similar considerations paid, granted to independent and or exclusive sales representatives and marketing agents and sub-agents of companies, including multi-level marketing companies, ito yung mga networking, on their sale of goods and services by way of direct selling or similar arrangements where there is no transfer of title over the goods from the seller to the agent or sales representative. So, anong tawag doon? Commission. Kaya, tingnan po ninyo itong mga nagne-networking sa atin, na sabi nila, ma'am, i-claim pa namin yung aming purchases. Marami naman kaming purchases kasi i-claim namin na expenses, no? For your information, wala po kayong purchases. Why? Kasi ang income na kinikredit sa inyo are only commission. So, definitely, hindi po sale of goods ang income ninyo, ang sa inyo ay sale of services. At dahil hindi po siya sale of goods, wala po kayong purchases na pwedeng i-claim. Ako ayoko lang nakikipag-argue, especially those ng mga nasa networking na ayaw naman maniwala kahit na explain mo pa, pero pagdating po sa assessment, doon nyo na lang malaman sa actual na yung sinasabi nyo na purchases, hindi pwede dahil commission basis lang po kayo. No? Okay. Multi-level marketing for purposes of these regulations is a system of direct selling in which consumer products are sold by individuals where consumer products and services are supplied by an established multi-level marketing company who encourages the distributor to build and manage his own sales force by recruiting, motivating, and training others to sell the products or service. A percentage of the sales of the distributor's sales force would be his compensation in addition to his personal sales. No? So, tingnan po natin yan. Kasi, pag tiningnan ninyo sa 2307 nyo, commission lang po yung nakalagay doon. Multi-level marketing companies for purposes of these regulations means any entity that is engaged in the sale of its products or services through individual that directly sells such products or services to the consumers. So, uso po yan, no? Especially yung mga food supplement na ang mamahal. No? And then, very luxurious yung kanilang mga prices, no? May mga pakotse, may mga natawag dito, yung mga sasakyan na mamahalin, no? As an incentive, as ano ba yun? Yung para ganahan yung kanilang mga agents or mga recruits, no? Shout out, Hari.
Meron po ba? Shout out po kay Ma'am Maria Teresa Valle.
Okay, shout out Miss Maria Teresa Valle. Good evening po and thank you for watching.
Good evening din daw po sabi ni Monica Perez.
Okay, so shout out kay Ma'am Monica Perez.
Shout out po kay Ran Verdan.
Okay.
EFP.
Okay, shout out kay Ranran
Verdan.
Verdan. Okay?
Ako, good evening daw po sabi ni Ma'am RG.
Hello Miss RG, kasama ka sa ano yung Ramo Wonders 2019 natin na 2 days na seminar. Sumama ka dyan dahil that is an update so on the transfer pricing audit. And then meron din tayong tax update sa 28, no? Yung 1 to 5 via Zoom din po yan. So, sama ka rin dyan. Okay, meron pa?
Meron pa po kay good evening daw po sabi ni Ma'am Irish Dario.
Okay, always yan si Miss Iris Nario, no? Good evening, shout out po, Miss Iris.
Good evening din daw po sabi ni Ma'am Angie Salvador.
Okay, Salvador?
Apo.
Okay, shout out Miss Angie Salvador and thank you for watching.
Wala po ma'am, wala po sa tanong mo.
Okay. So, pwede kayong magtanong kung pwede nating sagutin sa abot na ating makakaya, no? Okay. Kasi maganda itong topic ng withholding at saka mandatory po ito. Hindi ito optional on the part of the taxpayer. No? Why? Kasi mahigpit po ang penalties dito po sa withholding. No? So, the amount subject to withholding tax under this subsection A shall include not only fees but also per dime fees, allowances, and other form of income payments and subject to withholding tax on compensation. No? Okay. In the case of professional entertainers, professional athletes, directors involved in movies, stage, radio, television, and musical productions, and other recipients of talent fees, the amount subject to withholding tax shall include amounts paid to them in consideration for the use of their names or pictures in print, broadcast, or other media, or for public appearance for purposes of advertisement on sales proportion. So, ano yun? Lahat yun, talent fee yun eh. Pag ginamit yung mukha mo, yung picture mo, yung pangalan mo doon sa advertisement, kasama po yun na classified as professional fees. If the recipient of the aforementioned income, however, is an employee of the loan income payer, such fees or payment shall be considered supplemental compensation subject to the withholding tax and compensation under Section 2.78 of these regulations. Pag halimbawa naman yung kinuha mong model, nag-advertise yung isang company, yung kinuha niya na model is employee niya para makatipid, no? Or mayroon namang pang model na empleyado siya. So, pwede rin po yun. Pero yung talent fee mo, doon sa empleyado mo, isama na sa kanyang compensation income. Hindi na po siya classified as professional fees. Okay? So, ano ang magiging withholding nun? Withholding tax on compensation, on gross compensation. Kasama na doon sa BAR Form 2316 niya at hindi po 2307. No? Parang commission din yan. Na halimbawa, employee mo, tapos binigyan mo ng compensation. Yung compensation yun na yan is subject to withholding tax on compensation, hindi na professional fees. Huh? Okay. Individual payees whose gross receipts or sales in a taxable year shall not exceed 3 million are required to submit a sworn declaration to his or her gross receipts or sales, Annex B. Annex B1. No? So, titingnan natin yan and explain din po natin sa inyo yung annex na yan. Together with a copy of Certificate of Registration or COR to all the income payer, withholding agents, not later than January 15 of each year or at least prior to the initial payment of the professional fees, no, commission, talent fees, and others in order for them to be subject to 5%. Ito yung sworn declaration na hindi ka lalagpas, pag individual ka, hindi ka lalagpas ng 3 million so that ang tax rates mo ng withholding is only 5%. Kasi kung wala yun, is subject ka sa higher rate, which is 10%. Ganon din sa corporation. Pag hindi ka nagbigay ng sworn declaration mo na ang income mo hindi lalagpas ng 720,000 in a year, then you will be subjected to the higher rate of withholding, which is 15%. No? Kasi kung magbigay ka ng sworn declaration mo before the start of the withholding, no, na hindi pa due ang withholding, then tuong ka lang sa 10% na 720,000 and below na income. Okay? Okay. The 10% withholding tax rate shall be applied to the following cases. The payee failed to provide the income payer withholding agent of such declaration, or the income payment exceeds 3 million despite receiving the sworn declaration from the income payee. In the case of individual payees with only one payer, the sworn declaration to be accomplished shall be Annex B2 and submitted together with a copy of their COR to the said loan income payer. Bakit kasama na sa sworn declaration yung Certificate of Registration ng BIR? Kasi doon po sa Certificate of Registration ng BIR, makikita na doon ang makikita doon? Yung tax types, no? Saka to assure na talagang registered kayo as taxpayer. So, yung wini-withhold sa inyo ay pa-file nyo po talaga sa BIR. Okay.
Tanong po, ma'am.
Okay.
Tanong po kay Ma'am Iris Nario.
Okay.
Sabi niyo, ang big incentives are also subject to tax.
Ano pong klaseng incentives, no? Kasi kung incentives yan na increase ng salaries mo, then subject po talaga siya sa withholding tax and compensation. Kung halimbawa naman incentive yan ng production or in the form of sales halimbawa, so depende yan kung halimbawa binibigay nyo sa binibigyan nyo ng incentive is your agent, no, or broker, then kasama po siya sa commission, subject sa withholding din po. So, halos po lahat ng incentive, wala pong libre. Ang libre lang dyan yung incentive na ibibigay mo na 13th month or Christmas na bonus, no, na incentive mo pag December na hindi lalagpas ng 90,000, yun lang po yung exempt. But all other na incentives po na monetary considerations, subject po sa tax.
Ma'am, yung car prices daw po.
Okay.
Subject to tax.
Yes po, may final withholding tax po yan on winnings. No, 20%. Depende po yan sa nagpaparaffle. Kung sabihin ninyo doon sa mananalo na tax-free, din kayo ang magbabayad. Pero kung silent kayo, hindi siya tax-free, ang nangyayari po sa mga nagpaparaffle, karamihan, hindi nakukuha yung sasakyan dahil walang pambayad sa withholding. So, ang ginagawa, binibenta na lang. No? Kasi depende po yan sa nagpaparaffle. Kung sabihin ng nagpaparaffle na tax-free ito, then yung nagparaffle ang magbabayad ng tax. Pero kung silent siya, then yung winner ang magbabayad ng tax.
Galing po kay Ma'am Jennifer Poblete.
Okay, shout out Jennifer Poblete. Thank you for watching.
Yung BMBE, ma'am, subject to tax.
Hindi na po siya subject to tax. Kaya dapat pagka BMBE yung inyong subject to withholding, magpakita na siya ng exemption certificate. No? Pakita niya para hindi na siya i-withhold. Okay?
Nakita na mawala na.
Okay, so diretso lang po tayo, no? Okay. Na-explain ko na to yung in the case of the non-individual, no? Income payers withholding agents shall subsequently execute a sworn declaration Annex C stating the number of payers who have submitted the income payers. Ito yung bago kasi yung mga sworn declaration dati na yan, no? Pero sa under the train law, pati yung withholding agent may sworn declaration na rin, no? So, income payers withholding agent shall subsequently execute a sworn declaration Annex C stating the number of payers who have submitted the income payers sworn declaration Annex B1, B2, B3 with the accompanying copies of the COR. So, pati COR, kailangan i-submit din, no? Such declaration of the income payers withholding agent shall be submitted together with the list of payers to the concerned BIR office were registered on or before January 31 of each year or 15 days following the month when a new income recipient has submitted the payer's sworn declaration. So, yung mga sworn declaration na sinasubmit ng customer, no, or ng payers, no, sinasubmit po yan sa BAR at may deadline po yan, no? At kailan yung deadline? 15 days following the month when a new income recipient has submitted the payer's sworn declaration, or kung during the year naman, on or before January 31 of each year, no? So, dami nating deadline ng January 31, ha? Meron tayo yung annual registration fee, meron tayo yung submission ng list of inventory, saka ito pa, no? Sa withholding. Letter B, rentals formerly under letter C. Anong oras na, Hari?
9:05.
3 minutes lang po, ano lang, Okay. So let's now go to
Question.
sige, may question muna, no? Bago tayo magpo-proceed, we'll answer questions. Ano yung question?
Galing po kayo Ma'am Irish na Rio po.
Okay.
Who will pay the tax in transferring the title? Example po ay house and lot. The vendor or the benefit?
Ang liable po talaga dyan ang vendor, but depende na po yan sa usapan, no? Kung halimbawa sabihin doon sa deed of sale na ang magbabayad ay ang buyer, pwede rin po yun, no? Pero yung silent, yung deed of sale, ang magbabayad po, vendor.
Galing naman po kay Ma'am Jennifer Poblete po.
Okay.
Are all rental income subject to tax even if 1.5 lang per month?
Basta commercial po, kahit 1.5 lang, i-multiply mo yan sa 5%, bayaran mo po yan, magre-remit talaga kayo. No? Kahit 1,500 lang yung rental mo per month, subject to withholding tax pa rin po yan. Kasi creditable yan na 5%.
Galing naman po kay Ma'am RG. Paano po pag nag-hire kami this October din wala silang employer during January to September?
Walang
lampas 250,000.
Wala pong withholding yan. No, kasi dapat nag-year-end adjustment na kayo and i-anticipate mo na December na, so ang year-end adjustment mo mag-annualize ka, wala pong tax yan, wala kayong i-withhold.
Sabi niya Ma'am, kailangan pa po ba mag-sign ng waiver na wala talagang employer?
Oo, kasi baka depende na po yan sa policy ng company nyo ha, kasi ang mangyayari dyan, baka may employer yan, pero hindi lang yan nire-report. No?
May format daw po. Ano daw po yung...
Wala pong format ang BAR na ginawa, pero pwede kayong mag-devise ng sa inyo po para hindi kayo magiging liable na sabihin na meron yung previous employer pero hindi nyo isinama, no? So, maganda po yan, protection ninyo yan, na papirmahin nyo sila ng affidavit na wala silang previous employer.
Galing naman po Ma'am kay Sir Jules. Yung allowances po ba subject siya sa withholding tax?
Allowances, yes po. Lahat ng klase ng allowances subject po sa withholding tax. Why? Kasi monetary or non-monetary na benefits, basta't may employer-employer relationship subject po. No? So, pero kung halimbawa wala employer-employer relationship, casual labor or casual na posibleng walang withholding. No? Pero kung empleyado ka, tapos binigyan ka ng allowance ng employer mo, subject po yan sa withholding tax on compensation.
Meron pa po Ma'am.
Okay.
Galing po kay Chad. Okay. Ma'am, pwede bang sabihin sa supplier na huwag idagdag ang VAT dahil ang mga tindahan ay ginagamit ng sales tax?
Hindi nyo pwede pong sabihin. Why? Kasi pagka ang nagbenta sa inyo is a VAT-registered person, ang requirement po ng batas sa kanila, dahil batable sila, i-add on nila, i-bill nila separately yung VAT sa inyo. Kayo naman, pag hindi kayo VAT, i-disregard nyo yung VAT na add-on sa inyo, consider is as cost, no, ng purchases nyo. Wala kayong i-recognize dyan na input or output VAT. Lahat yan is cost. Parang wala kayong nakitang VAT po dyan, no? Hindi. Pero yung sabihin na wag i-add-on sa inyo, hindi ho pwede kasi mape-penalty naman sila. Ang ginagawa kasi dun sa paggawa ng resibo, nakaseparate lang yung VAT. Pero yung totoo niyan, ang selling price nila sa inyo, yun yung total amount talaga na selling price diyan sa baba, no? Breakdown lang nila.
May question pa po Ma'am. Galing po kay Ma'am Angie.
Okay.
Sabi niya Ma'am, pwede pa rin po Ma'am i-max out yung 90,000 exemption
Yes.
for employee sa annualization?
Pwede po. Pwede nyo i-maximize as long as may mga benefits kayong nabigay sa kanila. At ang benefits na yan during December, no? Anyway, during the COVID, di ba, sinabi ng batas na pwede nang i-partial yung benefits na para sa December, yung bonus, no? So, pwede po natin na i-advance na yun. I-maximize mo yung 90,000. No?
Okay na po Ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So, dito na po tayo sa rental, ha? Sa rental na tayo ng real properties, no? So, rental of real properties on gross rental for the continued use or possession of real property used in business which the payer or obligor has not taken or is not taking title or in which has no equity, 5%, no? So, yung mga sinasabi natin na yung rental, kasi ang rental sa establishment, ha, sa business is regardless of the amount, mag-withhold ka ng 5%. Iba na rental ng residential, no? For what purposes? Ang yung sinasabi na exempt sa VAT na mga rental, yung 15,000 na ngayon. So, exempt yan sa VAT. Pero wala silang sinasabi na hindi ka na mag-withhold, no? Meron pa ring withholding. Kasi subject pa rin yung nagpaparenta sa income tax. Sa VAT lang sila exempt. Okay. So, number 2, personal properties on gross rental or lease in excess of 10,000 pesos. No? Personal properties po to, ha. Hindi real property. Pwedeng sasakyan, ipinarenta nyo, pwedeng other kind of personal property. Annually, for the continued use or possession of personal property used in business, which the payer or obligor has not taken or is not taking title or in which he has no equity except those under financial lease arrangements with leasing and finance companies authorized to operate under Republic Act number 8556, the Financing Company Act of 1998, 5%, no? So, ang personal properties, magbabayad kayo ng 5%, no? Except doon sa 10,000 na annually. However, the 10,000 threshold shall not apply when the accumulated gross rental or lease paid by the lessee to the same lessor exceed or is reasonably expected to exceed 10,000 within the year, in which case the lessee shall withhold the 5% withholding tax on the entire amount, no? Dun sa kanyang rental expense, no? Kaya dapat lang napaka-stricto po ngayon ng BR when it comes to audit, especially kung ang expense na yan is subject to withholding. Halimbawa, makita nila, nag-claim ka ng rental expense, hahanapan ka kaagad ng 5% na withholding tax. Kaya, para safe, kung kayo ang withholding agent, basta expense na subject to withholding tax, withhold na kayo kaagad, no? Kasi ang mangyayari dyan, i-claim nyo yan na expense. Pole, satellites, and transmission facilities on gross rental or lease for the use of pole, satellites, and or transformer and transmission facilities, which includes but not limited to the following: switchboards, landlines, aerial cables, underground cables, and submarine cables, also 5%, no? Ito yung makikita natin yung mga poste na iba-ibang kuryente yung nakakabit, no? So, may mga rental po yan. Nagbabayad yan sila. Saan yung telephone, landlines, no, cable. Nagbabayad po yan sila ng rental doon sa may-ari ng poste, no? Number 4, billboards on gross rentals or lease of spaces used in posting advertisements in the form of billboards and structures similar thereto, posted in public places such as but not limited to buildings, vehicles, amusement places, malls, streets, post, and others, also 5%. Pero ito yung masaklap, no? Dito sa sinasabi natin na mga billboards na to used for advertising. Nung pumunta ako ng Pampanga, along the way, makita mo yung mga lagayan ng billboards, wala nang laman. So, ibig sabihin, wala nang nagpapa-advertise, no? So, anong nangyari? Kawawa. No, may isa akong kliyente na may lawyer siya. 5 client nung lawyer niya nagpakamatay, no? Yung iba nag-suicide, yung iba hindi mo masabi na suicide pero parang suicide na rin. Bakit? Kasi hindi na daw siya kumakain, hindi na makausap. And then the following day nakita na lang ng pamilya nila na matay na. Ano po ang negosyo? Advertisement, no? So wala na nag-a-advertise. So ibig sabihin lang, yung life na nangyari sa'yo, 20 years ka na, 30 years ka na, 40 years ka na nasa advertisement, biglang nawala na yon. Bakit? Kasi digitized economy na tayo ngayon eh. Wala na sa billboard, advertisement, nasaan na, nasa YouTube, nasa internet na. So ano dapat? Tama ba yung, sige nga, tama ba yun na magpakamatay ka? Dapat inaral mo kung ano yung bago at doon ka nag-adjust, no? So, hindi tama para sa akin na, hindi tama na because na may pagbabago, magpapakamatay ka na. No? Dapat sundin mo kung ano yung pagbabago. Do not go against it, no? Ako, ayoko ng YouTube for so many years na I'm doing my lectures face-to-face, no? At gusto ko kasi I was trained as trainer ng Development Academy of the Philippines. At yung may eye contact, titingnan mo sa mata yung participants mo, ipo-process mo. Eh ngayon, anong mata makikita ko? Camera. No? Yung una, parang ayaw ko talaga. Sabi ko, klase to, parang naiilang ako na salita ng salita, wala kang kausap, camera lang yung nasa harap mo. No? But, this is the new normal. No? Langan namang hindi ka na magle-lecture o anong gagawin mo? Magtanim na lang ng kamote, mahirap din, no? Marami ka ring kompetensya sa kamote mo. So, anong gagawin mo? Adjust, no? Adjust. Do not, yung, meron akong mga YouTube channels, no, na pinimaintain ngayon. Yung spoken poetry, nandoon po lahat ng mga positive thinking na dapat, no? Kasi hindi ka dapat talaga magpakamatay. Bakit? Ang dami umaasa sa'yo, no? May obligasyon din tayo sa buhay natin, hindi lang. At saka, magpakamatay ka, sinong kawawa? Hindi lang ikaw, no? Pati yung mga tao na umaasa sa'yo, magiging kawawa din. Na para sa akin, ayaw mo rin ng ganon, no? So, try lang. Kasi, our economy will become digitized. So, nasaan na ngayon? Wala namang nawawala eh. Binago lang yung proseso. So, ano dapat ang gagawin mo? Meron akong isang classmate sa law na doktora siya. Tapos nag-aaral ng law. Tapos may anak siya. Alam mo kung ano yung ginagawa ng anak niya ngayon? Kasi yung nanay na doktora, magaling mag-drawing. No? So, anong ginawa ng anak niya? Digitized artist. No? So, yung advertisement mo, ilagay mo na sa YouTube, ilagay mo na sa internet. Wala na doon sa billboard. So, wala namang nawala eh. Nasaan na yung mga tao? Hindi naman namatay yung mga tao. May namatay, konti lang. No? So, nasaan sila? Saan? Internet. Kahit na yung mga aral ngayon, nasa internet na. So, saan kaya pupunta ngayon? Sa internet din. No? Kaya sabi ko, kahit na ayaw ko mag-internet, ayaw ko nang mag-lecture dito via Zoom, mag-lecture ng mga recorded videos, mag-lecture sa YouTube. Ito na yung bagong normal, no? Ga-adjust ka lang, mag-adjust ka, no? Pero hindi ang answer diyan magpakamatay ka, no? Pag adjusted ka na, normal na. So ngayon, sanay na rin ako na yung eye to eye contact ko, mata ng camera, no? So, okay lang. Kasi, kung isipin mo kung palawakin mo yung isip mo, camera lang yung nasa mata, harap mo. Camera lang yung tinitingnan mo na mata. Pero, yung nanonood sa iyo is worldwide, no? So, samantalang kung face-to-face yan, kung 7 lang sila dyan sa kwarto, yun lang 7 ang nakakakita sa iyo. Pero ngayon, hindi lang 7, no? Halimbawa, during yung nagle-lecture ka sa live streaming mo, 15 lang yung nanonood sa'yo. Pero nandiyan yan sa YouTube, may viewers pa rin. No, hindi nag-stop doon sa live streaming lang. May facility pa yung YouTube na kahit tapos na, pwede pa rin i-view kung sino man yung pwede. No? So, wag mawalan po ng pag-asa. Ako, hindi answer doon sa pagbabago yung magpakamatay, no? Kaya ko naalala dahil dito sa mga pole, satellites and transmission facilities kasi yun po yung business niya, advertisement, no? Sa mga billboards ng pakamatay dahil sa wala na yung kanyang business. O kung wala na yung isang business mo, ang dami pang business, no? Kaya nga bumaha yung mga online sellers na ngayon nahabol naman ng BIR. No? Pero pag nag-online sellers tayo, pa-register tayo sa BIR para wala po tayong problema. Kasi tax ito eh. Kung doon sa Center for Tax Policy and Administration of the World po ng OECD, no? Ang sinasabi nila na changes that is brought by this pandemic is digitized economy. So lahat tayo doon na sa digital economy na. Since digitized economy na tayo, yung mode of collection ng gobyerno, ng tax natin, digitized na rin. No? Kaya yung mga online sellers, huwag ninyong isipin na online sellers ako, hindi naman ako alam ng gobyerno. Alam po. No? Bakit? May service provider kayo, may internet. Lahat ng mga information na nandyan sa internet service providers natin, open po yan sa government. No? Bibigyan sila ng report sa government. Okay. So, how much is the rental for the billboards? 5%, no? Withholding tax. Cinematographic film rentals and other payments formerly under letter D on gross payments to resident individual and corporate cinematographic film owners, lessors or distributors, also 5%, no? May question, Hari? Okay. Question muna.
Galing po kay Ma'am Irish.
Okay.
Ma'am, if ang isang regular employee was issued a memo regarding temporary layoff for 6 months, are they entitled for mandatory government benefits such as SSS or PDM?
Pagka wala na, dahil din yan sa pandemic, may labor law naman po tayo eh. No? So kung wala ng trabaho, lay off na kayo, wala na rin. At depende na rin po yan sa employer, kung sabihin sa ng employer, pero sa batas wala na, kasi wala na nga pang sweldo yung sa totoo lang. Ang dami ko pong kliyente na talagang hindi ko akalain na magsasabi sila na mag-stop sila, no operation, pero wala na talaga eh, no? Mga kliyente din ako na namatay sa COVID, ang laki ng mga construction companies. Pero wala tayong magawa, kasama sa buhay, no? So, itong mga laid off na, depende kung bibigyan nyo sila. Kasi mayroon namang kaya na binibigyan ng 1/2 na salary monthly. So, pwede ninyong ituloy kung kaya nyo. No? Pero kung hindi, may batas po tayo sa labor. Yun po yung sundin nyo. I-report po ninyo sa labor para hindi kayo ma-question. No? Na ito, temporarily laid off for 6 months. Kasi intindihan naman po yan dahil dito sa nangyari nga po na pandemic. Okay. Pero sa BAR, para hindi kayo magka-open case, magre-report kayo ng no withholding. No? Kasi temporary closure lang naman yan, hindi naman kayo nagko-close sa BAR. So yung monthly nyo, para hindi kayo magka-open case, mag-report lang kayo na no withholding. No? I-submit nyo pa rin yung 1601C ninyo na monthly. Okay, wala na? Okay. So, let's now go to letter C, the income payments to certain contractors. Ito yung mga contractors ng, ba't ibang klaseng contractors, no? Services din yan. On gross payment to the following contractors, whether individual or corporate, 2%, no? So, kung titingnan mo, itong contractors na to, professionals din to kasi may mga engineers yan, license yan, at saka skilled na work yan, no? Pero bakit 2% lang ang binibigay? Yan ang sabi ng batas eh. Bakit? Kasi may mga expenses pa sila na kiniklaim doon sa pangungontrata nila. Nandun na pa yung labor materials, mga salaries ng mga tao. Kaya binigyan yan lang sila ng 2% na withholding. No? Sometimes yung mga kumikita talaga na contractors, kulang na kulang yung 2% na withholding na yan, kaya nagbabayad pa sila. Okay. So number 1, general engineering contractors, those whose principal contracting business in connection with fixed works requiring specialized engineering knowledge and skill, including the following divisions or subjects. Letter A, reclamation works, no? So kasama yan sa engineering services. Letter B, railroads, no? Yung gumagawa ng daanan ng train natin, no? Letter C, highways, streets and roads. No? Letter D, tunnels, airports and airways, waste reduction plants, bridges, overpasses, underpasses, and other similar works, pipelines and other systems for the transmission of petroleum and other liquid or gaseous substances, land leveling, excavating, trenching, paving, and surfacing work. No? So kasama lahat yan sa general engineering contractors. Ano naman yung general building contractors? Those whose principal contracting business is in connection with any structure built for the support, shelter, and enclosure of persons, animals, chattels, or mobile property of any kind, requiring in its construction the use of more than 2 unrelated building trades or crafts, or to do or superintend the whole or any part thereto. Such structure includes sewers and sewerage disposal plants and systems, parks, playgrounds, and other recreational works, refineries, chemical plants, and similar industrial plants requiring specialized engineering knowledge and skills, powerhouse, power plants, and other utility plants and installations, mines and metallurgical plants, cement and concrete works in connection with the above-mentioned fixed works. So, yun yung general building contractors. Yung kanina, general engineering contractors. Ito naman, number 3, specialty contractors. Those whose operations pertain to the performance of construction work requiring special skill and whose principal contracting business involves the use of specialized building trades or crafts. So, yun yung mga specialty contractors. Other contractors, filling, demolition, and salvage work contractors and operators of mine drilling apparatus. No? Letter B, operators of dockyards. No? So, letter C, persons engaged in the installation of water system and gas or electric light, heat, or power. No? Letter D, operators of stevedoring, warehousing, or forwarding establishments. Letter C, transportation contractors, which include common carriers for the carriage of goods and merchandise of whatever kind by land, air, or water, where the gross payments by the payer to the same payee amounts to at least 2,000 pesos per month, regardless of the number of shipments during the month. No? Yung mga transportation contractors. Letter F, printers, bookbinders, lithographers, and publishers, except those principally engaged in the publication of printing of any newspaper, magazine, review, or bulletin which appears at regular intervals with fixed prices for subscription and sale. Itong mga printers, bookbinders na to, because of the digitization, no, yung electronic na lahat, affected din ang business nito. No? Kasi wala na halos printed media, no? Nasa internet na. Paperless, no? So, pagka ganyan naman ang business mo, mag-iba ka na ng business, no? Huwag magpakamatay. Kasi business lang 'yan. Habang buhay ka pa, pwede ka pa maghanap ng ibang klaseng business, no? May question?
Meron po.
Okay.
Galing po ulit kay Ma'am Irish.
Okay.
Effective November 2020 to May 2021, temporary layoff.
Okay.
Issued. Temporary layoff issued. Are they entitled for a 13th pay?
November
To May next year.
Yung sinasabi mo na
Temporary layoff.
hindi, yung entitled sila ng
13-month pay.
13th month pay. Entitled na po kasi usually sa mga offices ang cut-off is September, no? Lahat ng empleyado na nakapagtrabaho na ng ilang months up to September, entitled na po sila doon sa 13th month at saka yung Christmas bonus, no? So kung November 'yan, entitled na po sila.
Galing lang po kay Ma'am Jennifer. What is the rate for non-VAT rental income for residential?
5%.
If batable, what is the rate?
5% pa lang po, pareho lang ang withholding, no? 5%, no? Basta rental, 5% po.
Sabi niya, ma'am, what are acceptable expenses deductible from rental income?
Yung acceptable expenses sa rental income, ito yung repairs and maintenance ng building, no? Pero ano lang yan yung hindi i-capitalize. Hindi major expense na ganda mo ng husto o ayos mo ng husto yung repairs lang, ordinary repairs. Yung taxes and licenses doon sa building na yan, yung administrative expenses, no? Halimbawa, meron kang nagme-maintain, no? Siniswelduhan mo. Nagbabantay, security guard, no? Pwede rin. So, yun yung mga expenses na necessary and ordinary lang po for the rental income. Pero yung ibang mga expenses, mga traveling allowances na pagkalalaki, hindi na po yan. Yung mga commissions, wala na yan sa rental. No?
Okay na po.
Okay. So, next, yung sinasabi na mga services na subject to 2% withholding. Letter G, messengerial, janitorial, private, detective, and or security agencies. Ito yung mga subject sa 2% na withholding tax. Credit and or collection agencies and other business agencies. No? Letter H, advertising agencies exclusive of gross payments to media. No? Letter I, independent producers of television, radio, and stage performances or shows. No? Yung mga independent producers. Letter J, independent producers of jingles. Yung kanta, no, na mabenta yan lalo na pagka-election. No? Kasi yung mga kandidato sa pangangampanya nila may mga songs. No? Letter K, labor recruiting agencies and or labor-only contractors. For this purpose, any person who undertake to supply workers to an employer shall be deemed to be engaged in labor-only contracting, where such person does not have substantial capital or investment in the form of tools, equipment, machineries, work premises, and other materials, and the workers recruited and placed by such person are performing activities which are directly related to the principal business or operations of the employer which the workers are habitually employed. No? So yun yung tinatawag na labor-only contractors, and under the labor law, bawal po yan. No? So letter L, persons engaged in the installation of elevators, central air conditioning units, computer machines, and other equipment and machineries, and the maintenance services thereon. No? Mga elevators, no, installation, air conditioning, those are services. Persons engaged in the sale of computer services, computer programmers, software, program developers, designer, internet service providers, web page designing, so subject din po sila sa 2% na withholding tax. Samantalang kung isipin mo, highly professionalized po ito, pero since sabi ng batas 2%, then 2% lang po yung withholding. Computer data processing, conversion or base services, and other computer-related activities, subject po sa 2% withholding tax. Persons engaged in landscaping services. Persons engaged in the collection and disposal of garbage. TV and radio station operators on sale of TV and radio airtime. TV and radio block timers on sale of TV and radio commercial spots. No? So also 2%. Okay. Income payments to partners of general professional partnerships formerly under letter H. Income payments made periodically or at the end of the taxable year by a general professional partnership to the partners, such as drawings, advances, sharings, allowances, stipends, and others. The rate is 15%. Hindi na ito kasama doon sa 2%. No? If the gross income for the current year exceeds 720,000 and 10% if not exceeding 720,000. No? Kasi sino itong recipient dito? Partners of general professional partnerships. No? So, gross selling price or total amount of consideration or its equivalent paid to the seller, owner for the sale, exchange, or transfer of real property classified as ordinary asset, no? formerly under letter J. A creditable withholding tax based on the gross selling price, total amount of consideration, or the fair market value determined in accordance with Section 6E of the Code. Whichever is higher, paid to the seller owner for the sale, transfer, or exchange of real property other than capital asset shall be imposed upon the withholding agent, buyer, in accordance with the following schedule. So, ito na yon. Where the seller transferor is exempt from the creditable withholding tax in accordance with Section 2.57.5 of this regulation. So, exempt. Kung ang seller is exempt, no? Kung ang selling price naman is 500,000 pesos or less, 1.5%, no? So, with a selling price of more than 500,000 pesos but not more than 2 million, magkano po ang withholding? 3%. With selling price of more than 2 million pesos, 5%. And where the seller transferor is not habitually engaged in the real estate business, then 6%, no? Okay, so ito yung nagbenta ka ng real property. Registration with the HLURB or HUDCC shall be sufficient for a seller or transferor to be considered as habitually engaged in the real estate business. No? Bakit ka consider na habitually engaged in business? Kasi may permit ka sa Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board. No? If the seller transferor is not registered with HLURB or HUDCC, he or it may prove that he or it is engaged in the real estate business by offering other satisfactory evidence. For example, he or it consummated during the preceding year at least 6 taxable real estate transactions. So, para makonsider ka na habitually engaged in business, at least meron kang 6 real estate transactions during the year, regardless of the amount, no? So, notwithstanding the foregoing, for purposes of these regulations, banks shall not be considered as habitually engaged in the real estate business. Bakit? Kasi yung banks, kahit nagkakaroon po yan ng mga na-foreclose na real estate properties, incidental lang po sa kanyang banking business. Ang business niya talaga is banking, hindi real estate. Letter G, additional income payments to government personnel from importers, shipping, and airline companies or their agents. No? Formerly, under letter K, on gross additional payments by importers, shipping, and airline companies or their agents to government personnel for overtime services as authorized by law, 15%. No? So, sa shipping and airline companies or their agents. No? For this purpose, the importers, shipping, and airline companies or their agents shall be the withholding agents of the government. Anong oras na, Hari?
9:40.
Okay. Sige, tuloy lang po. May question pa?
Meron po nga.
Okay.
Galing po kay Jules.
Okay.
Pag subcontractor po and per project po ang trabaho, ano po ang dapat na rate ng withholding tax?
2% din po. No? Pag subcontractor ka, sino magwi-withhold sa iyo? Principal contractor. Ikaw na naman na subcontractor, kanino ka naman magwi-withhold? Doon din sa mga kakontrata mo o kaya sa sino man yung katransaction mo in performing the construction, no? So, since subcon ka lang ng principal contractor, ikaw na subcon, yung income mo dun sa subcon mo, declare mo rin yun as income. So, kung may mga expenses ka doon na subject to withholding, mag-withhold ka rin, no? Para maklaim mo yung mga expenses na yan. Kasi pag hindi, yung iba, hindi na kiniklaim yung expense dahil hindi sila nag-withhold. Ano pa? Okay. So, tuloy lang tayo ha. Letter 8, certain income payments made by credit card companies. So, ito mga credit card companies, nagwi-withhold din po sila, no? Formerly under letter L, on 1/2 of the gross amount paid by any credit card company in the Philippines to any business entity, whether a natural or juridical person, representing the sales of goods, services made by the aforesaid business entity to cardholders 1%, no? So 1%, halimbawa may credit card yung isang tao, no? Pero ako hindi ko pa naranasan magkaroon ng credit card, no? Para akong natatakot. Halimbawa may credit card yung isang tao, tapos ginamit niya. So ang credit card company ngayon, magbabayad siya doon sa establishment, no? Tapos ito namang cardholder, doon sa credit card company na siya magbabayad. So anong obligation ng credit card company? Pag nagbayad po siya doon sa business establishment, magwi-withhold siya ng 1%. Letter I, income payment made by top withholding agents, either private corporations or individuals, to their local resident supplier of goods and local resident supplier of services, or other than those covered by other rates of withholding tax, no? Formerly under letter M and W. So income payments made by any of the top withholding agents, no? So yung top withholding agents, as determined by the commissioner, pinapadalhan po yan ang sulat ng commissioner. So you cannot assume that you are a top withholding agents unless you receive a letter from the commissioner. To their local resident supplier of goods or services, including non-resident aliens engaged in trade or business in the Philippines, shall be subjected to the following withholding tax rates, no? Supplier of goods, 1%. Supplier of services, 2%. No? So, top withholding agents shall include the following. Ito yung, sino ba yung kasama sa top withholding agent? Letter A, classified and duly notified by the commissioner as either any of the following unless previously declassified as such or had already ceased business operations. So, yung iba kasi nag-stop na o kaya pinadalhan na ulit sila ng sulat na hindi na sila top withholding agents. So, hindi na sila kasama doon sa listing ng top withholding agents, no? Number 1, sino yung mga kasama na top withholding agents? Number 1, a large taxpayer under Revenue Regulations number 1-98 as amended. And number 2, top 20,000 private corporations under RR number 6-2009. Ito yung private corporations. And number 3, top 5,000 individuals under RR number 6-2009. So meron tayong top private corporations and also meron tayong top individuals. Sa individuals, 5,000. Sa corporations, 20,000. No? So, letter B, taxpayers identified and included as medium taxpayer and those under the taxpayer account management program or the TAM. No? So, nagwi-withhold na rin sila sa kanilang mga purchases, sa kanilang mga suppliers. The top withholding agents by concerned large taxpayer service, revenue regions, revenue district offices shall be published in a newspaper of general circulation. It may also be posted in the BIR website. So, nandyan yan sa BIR website, no, pag tinignan natin. This shall serve as the notice to the top withholding agents. The obligation to withhold under this subsection shall commence on the first day of the month following the month of publication. So, halimbawa, pinadalhan ka ng letter ng October. So, kailan ka dapat mag-umpisa? November, no? So, existing withholding agents classified as large taxpayers, top 20,000 private corporation or top 5,000 individuals which have not been delisted prior to this regulation shall remain as top withholding agents. The initial and succeeding publication shall include the additional top withholding agents and those that are delisted, no? So, yung mga hindi na isinama as top withholding agent. The term goods pertains to tangible personal property. It does not include intangible personal property as well as agricultural products which are defined under item N of this section. So, ano ba itong mga tangible goods and intangible goods? Tangible goods, ito yung may physical attributes, no? May physical features siya. Intangible naman, wala, no? So, ano yung example ng mga intangible properties natin? Ito yung mga copyrights, trademarks, no? Patents. Ayan yung mga intangibles natin ngayon na ang mamahal, no? At yun ang mga value drivers at saka kumikita ang mga companies dyan. The term local residents, suppliers of goods, suppliers of services pertains to a supplier from whom any of the top withholding agents regularly make its purchases of goods or services. As a general rule, this term does not include a casual purchase of goods or services that is purchased, made from a non-regular supplier and oftentimes involving a single purchase. However, a single purchase which involves 10,000 or more shall be subject to withholding tax under this subsection. The term regular suppliers for purposes of these regulations refer to suppliers who are engaged in business or exercise of profession or calling with whom the taxpayer or buyer has transacted at least 6 transactions regardless of amount per transaction either in the previous year or current year. Ang umpisa nito na regulations is Revenue Regulation 17-2003, no? So ito yung 10,000 na purchase from regular suppliers. Letter J, income payments made by a government office, national or local, including barangays or their attached agencies or bodies and government-owned or controlled corporations to its local resident supplier of goods or services other than those covered by other rates of withholding tax. No? So, formerly under letter N, income payments except any single purchase, which is 10,000 and below, which are made by government office, national or local. So, ang withholding agents po natin, hindi lang private na withholding agents, no? Kasama yung government. National or local, including barangays or their attached agencies or bodies, and government-owned or controlled corporations or on their purchases of goods and purchases of services from local resident suppliers. For supplier of goods, then 1%, and for supplier of services, 2%. No? So, yun po yung rates na sinasabi ng batas. A government-owned or controlled corporation shall withhold the tax in its capacity as a government-owned or controlled corporation rather than as a corporation stated in subsection L hereof. No? Tolling fees paid to refineries, formerly under letter P, on the gross processing tolling fees paid for the conversion of molasses to its byproducts and raw sugar to refined sugar, 5%. No? So, ito yung mga tolling fees. No? Yung halimbawa, may raw sugar ka, gusto mo ipagawang refined sugar, ang tawag doon, yung conversion process na yun is tolling. No? So, magbabayad ka doon, then mag-withhold ka ng 5%. Sino magbabayad? Yung nagpapatol o yung nagsiservice ng tolling? Siyempre, yung withholding agent dito, yung nagpatol, yung may-ari ng sugar. No? Siya yung mag-withhold. Payments made by pre-need companies to funeral parlors, formerly under letter Q, on the gross payments made by pre-need companies to funeral parlors for funeral services rendered. So, 1%. No? Ito yung mga funeral parlors. No? 1%. Payments made to embalmers. Ito yung sa mga patay. No? Formerly under letter R, on the gross payments made to embalmers for embalming services rendered to funeral companies. Sino nagbabayad ng payment sa embalmers? Hindi yung namatayan, no? Sino yung nagbabayad? Yung funeral parlors. So, sila yung required na mag-withhold. Income payments made to suppliers of agricultural products, formerly under letter S, no? So, income payments made to agricultural suppliers, such as those but not limited to payments made by hotels, restaurants, pabalik-balik na to, no? Resorts, caterers, food processors, canneries, supermarkets, livestock, poultry, fish, and marine products dealers, hardwares, factories, furniture shops, and all other establishments in excess of the cumulative amount of 300,000 pesos within the same taxable year is 1%. So, yung mga supplier ng agricultural products, may preferential treatment po sila pagdating sa withholding. Yung first 300,000 po nila na amount, hindi subject to withholding. So, paano yun malaman? Pag ikaw yung customer, so, siguro manghingi ka sa kanila ng affidavit na hindi pa sila umabot ng 300,000. In the absence of any proof, then you have to withhold 1%, no? The term agricultural suppliers refers to suppliers, sellers of agricultural, forest, and marine food and non-food products, livestock and poultry of a kind generally used as or yielding or producing of foods for human consumption and breeding stock and genetic materials therefore. So livestock shall include cow, bull, and calf, pig, sheep, goat, and other animals similar thereto. No? Sila yung tinatawag na livestock. Poultry naman include fowl, duck, goose, turkey, and other animals similar thereto. Marine products shall include fish and crustaceans such as but not limited to eel, trout, lobster, shrimp, prawn, oyster, mussel, and clam, shell, and other aquatic products. Ito yung mga masasarap pero nakaka-high blood, no? Kaya kapag high blood ka, iwas-iwas na lang. Otherwise, goodbye Philippines ka. Meat, fruit, fish, vegetable, and other agricultural and marine food products, even if they have undergone the simple process of preparation or preservation for the market, such as freezing, drying, salting, smoking, or stripping, including those using advanced technological means of packaging, such as shrink wrapping in plastics, vacuum packing, Tetra Pak, and other similar packaging methods shall still be covered by this subsection. So pag sinabi mo kasi na agricultural and marine products in their original state, kahit na freeze siya, na dry, na salting, na smoking or stripping, consider pa rin siya na original state, no? An agricultural food product shall include but shall not be limited to the following: corn, coconut, copra, palay, cassava, coffee, and others, no? So food products sila kinakain ng tao. Polished or husk rice, corn, grits, locally produced raw cane sugar, and ordinary salt shall be considered as agricultural food products, no? So letter O, income payments on purchases of mineral products, quarry resources, no? Ito yung mga buhangin, such as defined and discussed in section 151 of the tax code, formerly under letter T. So income payments on purchases of mineral products, and quarry resources, such as but not limited to silver, gold, marble, granite, gravel, sand, boulders, and other materials or products, 5%. However, the BSP is required to withhold 1% of gross payment made and remit the same to the government. Ito yung mga sale of gold to Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, no? So, required din ang central bank to withhold 1%, no? Meralco payments on the following, no? Formerly under letter U. Yun yung may sa Meralco payments meron tong separate na regulations, no? Sinabject sila. Okay. So, di natin itatakal dito yan. Interest income on the refund paid either through direct payment or application against customers' billings by other electric distribution utilities in accordance with the rules and regulations of the ERC Resolution Number 8, Series of 2008, dated June 4, 2008, governing the refund of meter deposits, no? Formerly under letter V. Yung refund ng meter deposits na pinarefund ng Energy Regulation Commission, mandating the Meralco to refund, no? So nag-withhold sila ng certain percent, no? Doon sa refund. Letter R, income payments made by political parties and candidates of local and national elections on all their purchase of goods and services related to campaign expenditures, and income payments made by individuals or juridical persons for their purchases of goods and services intended to be given as campaign contributions to political parties and candidates, no? 5%. Ito yung mga nagbibigay ng mga funding during the election. Letter S, interest income derived from any other debt instrument not within the coverage of deposit substitutes and revenue regulations 14-2012 unless otherwise provided by law or regulations 20%, no? Ito yung mga interest income sa mga pautang, no? Subject po siya sa 20% withholding. Income payments to real estate investment trust, REIT, no? Formerly under letter Z, income payment made to corporate taxpayers duly registered with the LTS, Large Taxpayer Service, or regular Large Taxpayer Audit Division as Real Estate Investment Trust for purposes of availing the incentive provision of Republic Act Number 9856, otherwise known as the Real Estate Investment Trust Act of 2009, as implemented by RR 13-2011. The withholding rate is 1%, no? So income payment on sugar, no? So walang rate na nakalagay dito. Ano lang yung na-amend dito? Provided finally that notwithstanding the presentation of proof of exemptions from the payment of income tax, BIR ruling, special law, the concerned proprietor or operator of the sugar mill or refinery or any buyer of kedan or molasses storage certificate is still required to withhold and remit the creditable withholding tax. So, sino yung mabibili ng kedan, ng molasses, no? Magwi-withhold. For purposes of these regulations, all income payments paid to sub-agents, excuse me, or their equivalent, whether paid directly or indirectly by the agent or the owner of the goods, shall be subject to withholding tax in the same manner as that of the agent. Any income subject to income tax may be subject to withholding tax. However, income exempt from income tax is consequently exempt from withholding tax. No? Further, income not subject to withholding tax does not necessarily mean that it is not subject to income tax. Excuse me. Anong oras na, Hari?
May 59 po.
May question?
Meron po.
Oh, sige.
Meron po kay Ma'am Angie.
Okay.
Ma'am, regarding credit card expenses, di ba po nagbibigay ng receipt yung store manually pag nanghingi ang customer?
Yes po.
Kanino po ipapangalan yung expense na yun?
Sa
Credit card company po ba or sa store?
Yung withholding? Anong...
Kanino po ipapangalan yung expense?
Yung expense, doon po taglaga sa credit card holder. No? Kasi expense niya yun eh. Ang sinasabi lang dyan na magwi-withhold, ang credit card company magwi-withhold doon sa supplier or doon sa business establishment, i-remit niya. So, kanino niya ibibigay yung 2307? Sa mall, no? O kaya doon sa store kung saan bumili. At hindi na yan per customer. Halimbawa, yung credit card company, marami siyang credit card holders na gumamit ng kanyang card for the month of, usually on a monthly basis yan eh, na ginagawa. So, yung total halimbawa na nag-avail ng services ng credit card for the month is 1 million. I-remit niya doon yan sa, halimbawa SM, i-remit niya yung 1 million, mag-withhold siya ng 1%. Hindi na niya yan iniisa-isa yung mga gumamit ng kanyang credit card. No? So, kaya yung resibo, sa pangalan po yan ng credit card holder, hindi sa pangalan ng credit card companies. Kasi sila yung proper claimant ng expense eh. Yung mode of payment lang na kinurse through sa credit card.
May tanong pa po, ma'am.
Okay.
Question po on income tax of a co-op member
Okay.
selling through the co-op.
Okay.
Yung sale po mismo, hindi i-imposean ng VAT or percentage tax based on the co-op act. And yung co-op mismo ang nag-issue ng invoice sa buyers.
Pwede.
Sabi po ng co-op, dapat pa rin daw po mag-file ng income tax return ng members sa kinikita nila on their sales. Paano po ipa-file yun? Ano pong form gagamitin kung no other source of income?
Alam niyo yung kagaya ng ginagawa ng mga sugar planters, no? Ito yung nangyari na nagkaroon ng dispute sila sa BIR kasi yung sale ng sugar nila course through the co-op. So yung co-op is exempt, no? So nag-exempt yung co-op. Pero nung nandun na yung pera sa co-op, i-distribute na niya ngayon dun sa mga members or sa mga members ng co-op. Nagiging taxable na kasi taxable ang members, no? So, ganun din yung mangyayari dyan na online selling siya, pero ang nagbebenta ang co-op, so definitely exempt ang co-op. Pero the moment na ibigay na ng co-op yung sales dun sa individual, nagiging taxable na, no? Kasi income na niya yun eh. Pero as to value added tax, no, sa VAT, na hindi ko alam paano yung nagiging setup at saka anong obligation ng co-op at saka yung obligation ng seller as to their agreement, no? Kasi diyan mo titingnan yan eh, aralin mo mabuti yan, yung mga provisions yan para ma-pinpoint mo talaga kung ano yung taxation na papasok, no? Pero yung co-op mismo is exempt, no? Hindi siya taxable. Pero ang member, taxable. Meron pa?
Wala na po.
Okay. So, wala na. Yung stop na po tayo. 10 o'clock na, no? So, yung i-discuss po natin on the next live streaming natin on Thursday is Section 3, no? Ng Revenue Regulations 11-2018, no? So, with that, thank you very much and hope to see you ulit sa Thursday, no? 8 to 10 din po tayo ulit. And thank you very much and sa mga subscribers natin, thank you very much also. No? So, let's call it a night. Good night to everyone and thank you for watching.